There were several observances throughout the Archdiocese of Chicago this weekend. Our Office of Radio and Television got to a number of those celebrations. Let's check out their report.
Pope John Paul II visited Five Holy Martyrs Church on South Richmond Street during his papal visit to Chicago in 1979. It was only fitting that the vibrant Polish community that attends Five Holy Martyrs host a canonization vigil that began at midnight with prayers and music and ended with a mass celebrating the sainthood of Popes John Paul II and John XXIII. At 3 a.m, all eyes were on the big screen for the canonization ceremony in Rome.
We are gathering here in this church because John Paul II, as a pope, he said mass in this church, actually in the parking lot, because on that day there was 50,000 people. But in this church, in front of this altar, he was praying. That's why we decided to gather here and to remind ourselves about this big event and to celebrate canonization here.
He's a saint. We can pray. We have always prayed to him, and we can now basically have full faith that, we have our saint who did so much for our people, for all people who believe in the Catholic faith, and so we're just celebrating him today, his life. He means a lot to us, especially to my parents who were born and raised in Poland. I was actually born here, but I was raised in a Polish home, understanding what he meant to all Polish people, all people who believed, again, in this faith. He did just so much for everyone, and he had such a huge heart.
To me, it's really somewhere deep in my heart. I just try to just understand what's happening. It's happening something, but not too many people got in their lives. To meet the person, to touch him, to talk to him, and now he's a saint. That's something unbelievable, indescribable.
I'm here because John Paul II and John XXIII are both becoming saints. Ever since I was a little girl, my parents always taught me about John Paul II. He was a really holy person, and he taught many people more about the Catholic faith.
The Office of Mission Education for the New Evangelization sponsored a local pilgrimage that began at Holy Trinity Polish Mission on North Noble Street. There was a full house for Sunday Mass as tribute was paid to our two new saints. Following Mass, the pilgrims, many in traditional Polish garb, gathered in the parking lot.
Today we have a Polish pilgrimage from Holy Trinity to XXIII, and the reason why we have this pilgrimage because today is the day when John Paul II and John XXIII was canonized in Rome, and this kind of manifestation of the Polish people who want to show Chicago what does it mean to be faithful.
An estimated 500 worshipers processed from Holy Trinity to St. Hyacinth Basilica on West Wolfram Street. That was almost a 5-mile trek on this brisk spring Sunday morning, but a trip well worth the effort.
I think it is a great privilege for all of us to have two new saints, and especially we Poles admire John Paul II because we knew him, we talked to him, and we observe his way of life. And we know that he taught us how to live, how to carry our daily cross, and how to believe and believe strongly in God.
We just came today to celebrate the happiness, and that's why sent us be a big family. That's why we're here, and he said be happy. That's why we're here too. And look, even in the morning look like be dark and rain. Now we have a sun. We almost go for a walk, and it's be beautiful day, and he with us for sure.
In north suburban Evanston, a Mass was celebrated at St. Nicholas Church to honor the two new saints, with particular focus on Pope John XXIII. That's because St. Nicholas Parish and nearby St. Mary Parish both feed into Pope John XXIII's school.
Very much like the story of the early church, John XXIII allowed himself to be an entrance of the Spirit to lead us in a way that nobody saw coming. Expected to be a short-term pope, but someone who in his own background as a farmer, as a medic in World War I, as an ambassador in World War II, a diplomat working to save Jews through Turkey, someone who just really understood the need for the church to be engaged in the world and to reach out to all people regardless of religion, regardless of background, and really opened us up to be engaged in the world that might have left us out of touch, given about as much as the world was about to change over the next 10 years. So really placing us in a place where we could truly engage the world and continue to preach the gospel of Christ.
Pope John the 23rd, now St. John the 23rd. So we're celebrating the children, we're celebrating St. Mary's Parish, St. Nicholas Parish, a great day for the Church of the world in the Archdiocese of Chicago and for all people. Great day to be Catholic.
From North Suburban Evanston, let's now head to the far south suburbs to St. Stephen Deacon and Martyr Church in Tinley Park. That's where a first-class relic of Pope John Paul II was on display. A first-class relic is part of the material remains of the body of a saint. In this case, when blood was drawn by the doctor treating the Pope in his final illness, the blood was preserved and a limited number of relics have been made with drops of that blood on a cloth. Hundreds of worshipers turned out at St. Stephen Deacon and Martyr to venerate the relic on this special occasion. St. Damian Parish in South Suburban Oak Forest was one of several parishes that offered Divine Mercy devotions to coincide with the canonization. The Sunday after Easter was proclaimed Divine Mercy Sunday by Pope John Paul II, so the choice of date for canonization was no coincidence. Cardinal Francis George canceled his trip to Rome because of ongoing chemotherapy treatments, but he did celebrate a special late afternoon Sunday Mass at Holy Name Cathedral, a Mass in honor of Popes John the 23rd and John Paul II. And in his homily, the Cardinal said we should use these two saints as examples on how to lead our own lives.
Both John the 23rd and John Paul II urged us never to be afraid to be messengers of the gospel, witnesses to the joy of the gospel, as our present Holy Father expresses it so beautifully.
It was a day of celebration for Catholics here in the Chicago area, indeed for Catholics around the world, as we welcomed Pope John the 23rd and Pope John Paul II into sainthood. With photojournalists Brian Brock and Javier Garcia, I'm Jim Dish reporting for the Church, the Cardinal, and You.